let's do that real quick. I know that we are live on stream for this one, but I don't want to miss the chance to go through the warrior stuff fully. At least arms and fury. We'll see about prop, but we went over fury already, and now I think we should go over arms a little bit because there are some changes and there are some cool things and some concerns. But I can talk you guys through it a little bit. We did kind of breeze through the warrior side of the tree on the fury guy or the fury update, but there wasn't really that much to talk about, I think. But we'll talk about it a little bit. So battle stance unchanged, just gives you a little bit of crit. D-stance, it does reduce the damage that you deal, but reduces the damage that you take as well. We have fast footwork for a little bit of movement speed. We have war machine for auto attacks, generate more rage, and getting a bunch of rage and movement speed when you kill something or it just dies around you like in a battleground. Leeching strikes, a little bit of leech. We have thunderclap for a little bit of AoE slow, but then if you come all the way down here, it can apply rend, which is cool. So we have victory rush, a little on-demand heal and a cooldown. We have heroic leap, some nice mobility. We have stormbolt, our sort of on-demand range stun. We have second wind, which is not mop second wind, but it does give you a little bit of healing over time, with more healing over time taking place when you're lower HP. But the nice thing about this is, like, when you're leveling and stuff, or if there's ever a chance to not be taking damage, you will heal to full pretty quickly, which is nice. 6% of your health for 1 second is a lot. Frothing Berserker, it just gives you a chance to refund rage off of Mortal Strike or Cleave. Bounding Stride reduces the cooldown of Heroic Leap and makes you run fast afterwards. Pain and Gain gives you a small little health proc upon taking damage. We have Intervene, but we do have a new talent here. We talked about it a little bit with the Fury one, but we'll talk about it again. You run at a high speed towards a target location near your allies, so you cannot just use interpose and just charge anywhere. You actually have to have it be in a little circle around, like near an ally. But if you do that, you take a percentage of the AoE damage they would have gotten hit by, which is cool. We have Spell Reflection, which is something I really would like to see them change, where it doesn't just only reflect the first spell. It should reflect everything that comes your way for like 1 second, even would be so much better than reflecting, you know, Fell Bolt number 17 from the 30 imps that a demo lock has out. That'd be nice, instead of reflecting the Mortal Coil that's gonna hit you 1 millisecond later, right? We gotta work on that. But anyway, we have Overwhelming Rage, which gives you more rage maximum. Rallying Cry, which is one of your defensive cooldowns, just gives you a teeny little bit more health. But you can pair it up with Resonant Voice to make it last longer, and Battlefield Commander to make it give everybody leech and movement speed, which is cool. Have a little bit more AoE and Thunderclap if you want it. We have Shockwave, which is an AoE stun. And then you can also add on Rumbling Earth, which makes it a bigger area of effect, and it also reduces the cooldown when you hit 3 or more targets, which is cool. We have Armor to the Teeth, which is strength equal to 10% of your armor. We have Honed Reflexes, which I think was only 5% before, now it's 10%. Now we have Piercing Howl and Berserker Shot. Berserker Shot is super useful for getting your teammates out of fear. Piercing Howl is just kind of nice for slowing enemies, but it also gives you a movement speed buff now. And the movement speed buff is affected by the Resonant Voice, where you can see why it's like 4.8 seconds instead of, 4 seconds or whatever. That's kind of cool. This just super useful. Usually I would just never unspec that, but I guess the movement speed is kind of cool. Intimidating Shout is your fear. We have Reinforced Plates, which increases your armor and stamina, pairs nicely with Armor to the Teeth. We have Barbaric Training, where Slam, Morrowind, and Thunderclap deal more damage. Slam hits pretty dang hard in PvP, so Barbaric Training is a pretty good talent to have. Concussive Blows reduces the cooldown of Pummel and increases the damage that the pummeled target takes if your pummel succeeds. That is a nice talent, but, and again, don't necessarily read into the way I've allocated my points right now, because this is just a spec, but also remember that we're going to get 3 points here and like 7 more points, basically in our arms tree. 4 of those will likely be spent on our Apex talents that live about right there. But we get 3, and then 4. So that's pretty cool. So we'll fill out some stuff with extra utility or, keystone passives or whatever. But anyway, we've got good old double time for 2 charges of charge, reduce cooldown on charge, which is nice. We have some fear options. Fear takes a little bit more damage without breaking, or it makes everybody flee. Which I think is just like uncapped AoE menace, right? Kind of cool. It also says, look at this. Intimidating Shout will cause all nearby enemies except your target to flee in fear for 18 seconds? Is that different than what it was before? 18? That's massive in PvE. Certainly it's not 18 seconds of PvP, but that's insane for PvE. So Resonant Voice. I'm just experimenting with this because it's new. Makes your shouts last longer. Kind of okay. Blood and Thunder. Thunderclap is going to rend your targets, which is great. We have either we can take this talent to give you 2 points of, or I mean, I guess 1 point. Its per point is 1% execute, or sorry, 1% crit damage. Wait, actually, this is different. Sorry, why am I having, like, I'm a warrior man, I can't read. It looked like it was different for a second, but it's not. It's just crit chance, and in general, and critical strike damage of execute increased by 5%, same as it was before. Then we have, while dual wielding two-handed weapons, damage is increased by, looks like 3% per point, and then damage taken from AoE is reduced by 2% per point. This is new, though. The mastery is increased by 2%, and auto attack damage is increased by 100%. And your mastery now, it's worth mentioning, you probably can't even see it on screen because my ultra wide monitor is a little bit not configured for this setup. But anyway, your mastery is now just while wielding a two-handed weapon, you deal 28.7% additional damage. So whatever your mastery is, you deal that much more damage all the time, no matter what, because you're always wielding a two-handed weapon. So it's like, okay, it's not a very like exciting mastery, but it is effective. It's just straight damage. So it's like, okay, so 2% more damage. And auto attack damage is increased by 100% too. It's like, okay, we'll try that out. And then we have the other option over here, which is haste is increased, and then auto attack crits increase your auto attack speed by 10%. So it's like, okay. Then we have crushing force. Mortal strike deals additional 5% damage and 5% increased critical strike damage, which I think this used to be crit chance. So no, maybe it's just critical strike damage. Anyway, then we have the throw options: wrecking throw and shattering throw for utility. And then we have retaliation, so which is whenever you take any damage from an enemy within melee range, have a chance to strike them for 1,000 physical damage, and that compares with sidearm, which is about half the damage, but it just procs off auto attacks. So not sure if anybody except Procs can use that, but okay. So anger management is every 20 rage you spend on attacks reduces the remaining cooldown on Colossus Smash by 1 second. And it's only C Smash, it's not Blade Storm anymore, so it's like, okay, we'll see how that goes. They really are loading up Colossus Smash as our main offensive cooldown, which is fine, but we'll talk about that a little bit. So Last Stand is now a passive, and it's available to any warrior. When your health is brought below 20%, you increase your maximum health by 30% and instantly heal yourself for that amount of health. So that's kind of interesting. It can only occur every 4 minutes. So, and it's cool. There is a possibility that you just get killed straight from 21% to dead, and then this doesn't do anything, but still kind of cool. I'm trying it out, especially when paired with Rallying Cry, and then you get even more health, right? It can be a lot, kind of hard to kill, so you're going to need to have some kind of defensives, because, spoiler alert, you have to choose between die by the sword and ignore pain now, so it's like, that's rough. So Spear, I think, is actually maybe even worse than it was before. You spear a target, but they only get pulled back the first time they try to escape, and then they can get out. So it's like, I think this is just a dead talent, unfortunately. I mean, maybe for PvE, people are always bugged out of Spear anyway in PvP, so it took away Roar, which is kind of the one that we use, and then they gave us Spear, which is just even worse, so we'll have to work on that. That's not looking too good. Then we also have this, which used to be a PvP talent, now is an actual just normal talent, which maybe gives us options, because you can use Battlefield Commander and Master and Commander for, you know, short cooldown Rallying Cry for extra movement speed boosts. And then, of course, everything else that it gives you is also excellent. You know, Battle Shout, more attack power, Intimidating Shot, all that. I just don't really see that being super useful for PvE, but for PvP, it's nice. So there's a potential that you would maybe path down to here with, like, you'd put 1 point here, 1 point in the sidearm, and then 1 point here for your final 3 warrior talents. And then you can have that. That'd be kind of cool. But, yeah. Nothing really crazy with the warrior side of the tree. There's definitely some cool possibilities. But looks, you know, pretty standard right now. Nothing really changed with Colossus or Slayer in terms of the actual, like, talents that you have here. Right now I've just got more, you know, more crit damage, more bleed stacking damage, more mortal strike and slam damage. The Colossal Might stuff just stacks up your damage of Demolish. Got Mortal Strike crits give you an extra stack of Colossal Might. Just good old overpower damage with Colossal Might, so it's increasing your bleeds in that. Right, we already knew about this one, right? Yeah, just Mortal Strikes give you Colossal Might. Oh, this is also giving you the enemies take more damage and deal less damage from demolish. There's that too. We have your shockwave options where you can either knock up with shockwave and having like a what is it, 30-second, 35-second cooldown on it, or you can make shockwave last longer and slow them after. Much like that. You can either have like a stronger ignore pain or a little heal effect. So veteran vitality kind of works similar to last stand, and like a little, when you get low, you'll heal yourself, or you can have ignore pain. So obviously, if you're not using ignore pain, you don't play this. It feels like this is designed to always have ignore pain, because if you're not spec'd for it, then you can better spec that one. But anyway, you're also just a little bit more swole. You take less damage, do more damage, that kind of thing. Slayer's the same thing as it was before as well. We don't have these talents yet. Whatever these are, we get these for sure, by the way. Maybe that's, yeah. I think, so hold on. I think I was wrong about what I said before. I think you get 3 talents here. I think you get 3 talents here. And I think you get 4 talents here, even though you potentially will spend all those on your Apex. Sorry. I misspoke there. Misspoke. Alright. All good. And sorry, we're not doing a lot of Q&A right now. I'm just recording my video. We'll chat after. I'm chatting about it. So Spear is a big mass grip now. Okay. Well, maybe we'll try it then. But I still feel like it's not as good as it was before. But if it actually is a bigger AoE and it pulls it in, that's cool. If it's like a pixel ability, Warriors need that for PvE. And this does feel like a big PvE expansion at this point, but that's fine. Anyway, so we have Mortal Strike. Big heavy hitter ability. Press it on cooldown. Does big damn. Reduces effectiveness of heals. Overpower. Kind of an ability that procs. Can do nice damage, especially when scaled with this stuff. Sudden Death gives you a chance to proc Executes, which do apply deep wounds now. If you talent for it, I guess. Fueled by Violence, you're healed for 85% of the bleed damage dealt by rend and deep wounds, again, which is kind of nice for some passive healing. This is the thing that really sucks. You have to choose between Die by the Sword, which is now a 2-minute cooldown, by the way, and Ignore Pain. It's 1.8 because of this talent, right? But yeah, Ignore Pain is only on the 6-second cooldown, and it is nice, especially when paired up with this, but to have to choose between that and Die by the Sword is rough. I almost feel like that will not continue to be the case as time goes on, but we will see. We will see. So we've got the choice between Blood Surge and Initiative. Just like a rage gain tool. Damage from Ren is a chance to generate 5 rage, or your auto attacks generate more rage. So I'll try them out, see how it feels. Improved our power just gives it 2 charges and more damage. Make it execute, no longer have a cooldown, which is kind of nice. Not necessary for Colossus in particular, but you do have to take it to get these talent points, for this one at least. And you want that, especially with Colossus. I don't really like pressing cleave, so I'm not talenting for it right now. Tactician, just have a chance to, when you spend rage, to reset overpower cooldown, which is great. Colossus Smash is your big cooldown. It generates 15 rage because I have it talented to generate 15 rage, so. But it's just as Warbreaker. Colossus Smash is now Warbreaker. You don't have a choice between like a single target version of it anymore. But it deals 36% damage because we are talented to make it do 20% more damage. So just keep in mind the numbers are being changed by the fact that I have talents associated with that. But over here we have Exhilarating Blows, Mortal Strike, and Cleave have the chance to reset their own cooldown, which is fun. You have 2 kind of slam affecting talents. If slam does not trigger Tactician, the next critical strike chance, oh sorry, basically your next slam will crit if it doesn't proc Tactician. Or you can do Rage spent on slam counts as double towards Tactician. I'm just trying this one. That's fine. We have Bleed effects deal 10% increased damage at 2 points. We have either just warming up, or you can have Colossus Smash grant 6 charges of Sweeping Strikes. Sweeping Strikes does work a little bit differently. It's a 30-second duration, but a 30-second cooldown, and it just gives your next 12 damaging single target abilities 1 additional target. It just hits into 1 more target for 75% damage. So, what happens with this though is that it puts your Sweeping Strikes on cooldown when you use C Smash, and it still only gives you 6 stacks, unless you wanted to do this talent, which then you would have 12 stacks of Sweeping Strikes. So, but then you're really only saving yourself half a global and investing 2 points to do it. So I don't think that's really worth it. Also, I'll take some rage from it. You kind of have to take this point, or one of these points, in order to access Blunt Instruments or Spiteful. But Blunt Instruments is like, we don't have Avatar now, but this will like make our 8-second C Smash give us the extra 20% damage that Avatar would have given us just for a shorter period of time. So there's that. I know that they wanted to make it so that we don't have to always wait for Avatar in order to C Smash in order to do damage. So now this is like their fix for that is just like, okay, we'll take away Avatar. It's like, ugh. Almost. But okay. Then we have Colossus Smash causes your next 3 Mortal Strikes to be guaranteed to trigger Tactician. That kind of feels nice. Or you can make it so that it reduces the cooldown of Cleave. So it's kind of like they're... Is my WoW about to crash? Yeah, okay. One sec. It's kind of like they're giving us some of the talents that the old like option on Avatar besides the crit one would give us, where it was like we would, when you press Avatar, it would like reduce the cooldown of Cleave, and then it would also give you like sweeping strikes, which I didn't really like that anyway. But maybe it's a PvE thing. It's a PvE thing. Yeah. So there's definitely some stuff where it's like, yeah, we're gonna understand it's day 2 of alpha. It's day 1 of everybody having alpha, like that has like alpha access. Not everybody in the world, but you know what I mean. So we're gonna let them cook a little bit, but that's definitely gonna be feedback. It's like, hey, yo, this right here, not so good, not so good. But I'm gonna like play and try the game first before I'm like, you took away defensives. That is immediately not acceptable. You know, like, yeah, it's probably bad, but let's try it first. But anyway. So, these talents are kind of like trying to do the Avatar thing that they did before. So we'll see how it goes. You could take the same thing that Fury kind of had, right? Execute critical strike chance increase. It's different, actually. Execute critical strike chance increase by 5%, and then refunds additional rage. So this would be something that you would maybe play... Hello? With Slayer. Can I look at one talent real quick? So maybe Slayer would like the execute thing instead of the bleed thing, perhaps? It seems so much different. The game? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, huh? It's cool. It's a new expansion, so they're definitely messing around with stuff. They're kind of like paring stuff down a little bit. Check out housing? Yeah, I will at some point. We're gonna go through the Arms Warrior talents real quick too. I'm trying to get a little overview real quick before we in between DCs. I should take like a freaking screenshot so I can keep going through the talents before we keep getting spam DC'd here. It is alpha. Everybody's logging in, so yes, they did remove Avatar though for Arms. Prot has it, which is fine, but so does Fury also has it. And so, I don't know if I should be like, why does Fury also have Avatar? They're like, oh, you know what? You're right. Fury should also not have Avatar. Like, wait, dang it. I shouldn't have said anything. But, yeah, the Slayer ones would probably take the Execute crit chance buff. And Colossus might just take the Ren stuff, because Colossus doesn't really do a lot of executing, but you can. The final talents for Arms are very similar. You're going to take Blade Storm. And then you have access to Deep Wounds. You have to actually put a talent point into it, but Execute will give you Deep Wounds. And then you can also have a talent, like a final tier talent, where Mortal Strike will give you Deep Wounds when it crits. And so you're going to have a couple different bleeds. You're going to have Rend and then Deep Wounds, but Deep Wounds isn't just baseline on every ability, right? Deep Wounds is like, you have to either crit a Mortal Strike or get an Execute. And then that allows them maybe to make Deep Wounds hit harder for a little bit more pressure, like overall. And then you have Merciless Bone Grinder, which is like Whirlwind and maybe even Cleave damage after Blade Storm, which is good for PvE. And then you have Fatality, which is cool for PvP if it does enough damage. But it frequently doesn't do that much damage. So, not so much. PvP talents are pretty much the same. You just don't have... Battlefield Commander and PvP talents anymore because it's a normal talent, right? So I'm gonna take another look at Arms because it still has like its Battle Lord, where it will like have overpower, have a chance to reset the cooldown of Mortal Strike, and it has like various like sort of rotational benefits like that. It also has a talent where Slam makes your Mortal Strike deal more damage. Like it's 10% damage per stack, and it stacks up to 3. Yeah, no Skull Splitter. Have I tried any Shuffles Arena yet? No, bro. It's day 1 of Alpha. No, I've not done solo Shuffle in Alpha. I wonder if I should queue it up. Queue it up. But yeah, Skull Splitter's gone, yeah. But there's a couple different things that are interesting about Arms, but I guess, you know, we have to wait a moment to finish talking about them if we just keep getting spam DC'd. But hopefully we can. It is day 1 of Alpha, though, so all kinds of craziness is going on. They're probably trying to figure out how to fix up people's, like, inability to even, like, get into the realms and stuff, so we'll see. I mean, if I will queue for Shuffle, but I don't think, I mean, dungeons take a while to even queue for. I mean, if you want to gift 5 subs for me, queuing for Shuffle, let me see if I even can. All right, there's nothing to do, so I guess you just gotta give them subs. We gotta hurry. We gotta hurry quickly. All right, here we go. When Overpower has its cooldown reset by Tactician, all your abilities deal 10% increased damage for 4 seconds. That's pretty sweet. You have Bloodletting, where Ren and Deep Wounds bleed effects last longer, have an increased crit strike chance, and when you Mortal Strike a low health target, it Rens. Deep Wounds just on Execute. God freaking dude. Help me out here, man. I'm trying to read some dang talents. I think I actually talked about everything else, by the way. But geez, Louise, I'd like to actually show it to you, but this is alpha, bro. This is alpha. I was arms testing yesterday. A lot of the gameplay was yesterday. Today, we're actually just getting spam DC'd, apparently. Only just because we're trying to do the video. But go ahead and get those 5 gifted, Fez. Go ahead and hit us with it and slide us that prime while you're at it, bro. That would be just fine with me. That would be just fine. Thank you, bro. He's coming through. Nobody comes through with it, but you did, Fez Smash. Big flex for you, man. Pumping us up. Thank you, man. All right, quickly. Slam, increase the damage. You have Dreadnought, little Overpower Cleave. Overpower's chance to reset the cooldown Mortal Strike. Good old Blade Storm. Executioner's Precision, right? Execute gives the Mortal Strike buff. You can execute at 35% above if you want to. Overpower generates Rage when using enemies below 35% health, right? Then we have Deep Wounds on Mortal Strike crits. We have Bone Grinder, Whirlwind and Cleave deal more damage after Blade Storm. And then Fatality gives you stacks to execute fools. PvP talents, nothing's really different. And we're out the DC again. All right, GG. I guess that's our arms updates, boys. If you're looking for some gameplay, I mean, maybe potentially we can do some gameplay right now, but more than likely we're just gonna get DC looped into oblivion. Maybe I need to just move somewhere else. But arms does seem pretty interesting, right? You stack the Tactician, bro, get 10% damage all the time. Yeah, it's 4 seconds of it, but yeah, I mean, arms definitely looks like it has the potential of pumping. Arms, like a lot of classes, are quite pared down at the moment, but it doesn't really feel bad. And we've done some arms gameplay, and we'll do more. But yeah, it does feel a little bit pared down. So, see how it goes. I haven't looked into the tier sets or anything, no. More interested to see the gameplay? Yeah, I mean, it's alpha, so... your characters are like potatoes in like green starter gear, so... yeah, just... Don't get too, like, fixated on how much damage a class is dealing right now, right? So, arms always will put MS on CD, yep. But yeah, I mean, it feels good, and if we can, I'll play a little bit, but I did want to go through some of the talents with you guys real quick. If I was playing Slayer, I probably wouldn't do as much bleed stuff, and I'd probably go into critical thinking, and I'd look for more of the execute talents instead of some of these bleed talents, but, I do that without landing. Right, so I would just do this. I'll just move those talents around, like over here. That's what we would do. But Colossus have been fun. I probably should try some Slayer, though. Since we've mostly played Colossus so far. Maybe I will. Alright. But that's what things are looking like with arms. There's some things that are cool. There's some things that are a little concerning. But I think all in all, arms will be fun and be good. At least, you know, at least... At first glance, everything is subject to change, though. So... we'll give it a go. Anyway, we can go kill some stuff as arms. That'll be fun. Let's do it.
I answer to the light.
Hopefully it lets me play the game.
Remain vigilant.
Send me to Quel'Danas. They removed the health restriction on HP fatality. Oh, really? I didn't notice that. Why did they nerf sweeping strikes? I think it's actually a buff. I think it may actually be a buff. Sweeping strike. So it's just the next execute at any time. Interesting. I could try it. Just won't stack up that high. Yeah, but you can do it any time. That is actually pretty nice. What could we remove for that? I don't know. Maybe just like that's like a next point situation, or it could do fatality instead of massacre. I'll try some Slayer. I've played Colossus and I like it, so I'll mess around with this a little bit. Did it reset that keybind for me? Maybe. Go hero talents? They're the same. There's no new ones right now. Same talents as before.
The army of the light
same ones. But yeah, when you make a new character, you have like your 80 eye level, so Your guys are potatoes. Part of the fun, though, right? Apex talents will be a big deal. I think things are, like I said, pretty, like, basic right now. And I think that might be a theme of the whole expansion in some ways. But you gotta take into consideration that, like, you're playing a character that's low level, so you don't have all your tools, you know? Wait, do I get some of those from my own self? Can I use that on myself? Yeah, that was me on Mighty when I was just getting owned. They did a stat switch? Yeah, they'll probably do a stat switch like every other expansion, it looks like. Some Slayer. But I felt like Warrior has felt pretty good.
Anaria Shola. We will have
Join
justice.
me in battle, brother. And Ignore Pain is like, it's a pretty short cooldown, but yeah, losing parry is definitely sketchy. He's evading. Okay, never mind. We're out of there. But if you played some arms, it's gonna look familiar to you. A lot of Mortal Strike. All of our kind of like cooldowns are pretty much just loaded into C-Smash now, though. Which again isn't the worst thing ever, especially because C-Smash, you know, you can put that extra 20% damage on it, and that'll help it pump pretty good, I think. Frosty Mage here. We do have, you know, bleeds as Slayer, but when I play Slayer, I kind of like to lead into the actual hits. And I think a lot of classes are probably going to end up playing like crit mastery. Kind of get that feeling, you know? Damage is low, yeah. But you can turn off all damage numbers and just look at the chunks. But yeah. The actual damage numbers and stuff are definitely toned down, right? Not a bad thing, though. I don't think. I can see crit mastery being a thing for a lot of different classes now. Because there's a lot of mechanics that are going to be, like... There's going to be a lot of mechanics that are, like, not just, okay, crit does damage, but it's like, yeah, you actually get some, like, part of your build is activated by critting. At least that's how it is for Fury. You'll get damage buffs if you, like, crit a Mortal Strike, or sorry, crit a Bloodthirst, something like that. And Slayer less so than Colossus, but Colossus gets, like, you know, extra colossal power stacks from, like, critting Mortal Strikes and stuff. Is this Elite trying to kill me? Oh, God. He is. We're dead. We are actually toast. Do I have Piercing Howl? Very well, friends. My last stand proc. We're toast. Who am I? What am I even running towards? Oh, they're up there. Never mind. Schmacked up. That was my speed reset strategy right there. Just wanted to get it back up top, you know. Yeah, I know. I could have just walked across the bridge, but no, this is faster. Trust me. Gotta watch out for them elites out here, bro. Don't have parry anymore, man. Not playing around. Maybe I shouldn't be getting involved in this many mobs all at one time, but you never know. You never know. Yeah, Arms doesn't have the fight to the death mechanic that Fury has. But it ends up feeling pretty good. It ends up feeling pretty basic, but again, I think that's kind of like the that's kind of like the vibe of the expansion. Kind of keep things maybe a little bit more simple. Make it easier for new returning players to get into it. Give them like a little bit of a basis to build off of. Nobody can complain about borrowed power, you know, that kind of thing. They're like, all right, you don't want no borrowed power? Well, here, have some of this. Have some of, we'll take some of that power back so you like that, huh? But yeah, it should be good. We're gonna play some arms today, a little bit more. We got some time. We'll work on this character. I definitely want to do some stuff with Jenny tomorrow, so we'll have to figure out what character I want to play there, but thought we'd go ahead and get the Arms Warrior talent overview going for you guys. I think Again, it's very early in alpha. There's plenty of room for feedback, and almost certainly everything is likely to change. But at this point, things look mostly pretty good. A couple concerning elements from, like, you know, having our defensive talents be really pared down, but I'm pretty sure that's happened to everybody. So that may just be the way the game works now. And it may still feel really good in PvP, actually. You know, we might feel fine. But we'll always have to sort of see what ends up happening as time goes on. And we'll continue to give feedback as we do. But we're going to keep it going. Hope you guys enjoyed this little look at the talents, despite the DCs and whatnot. We'll keep it rolling on stream. Thanks for watching. Peace.